Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Judge Tory denied the SEC's request to appeal her ruling in the Ripple SEC case. In this video, we'll break down what this means in further depth. If the hard-won win against the SEC is jeopardized by any sort of waves. This movie features an excellent analysis by John Deaton and a tweet thread detailing why this is beneficial to Ripple in the long run. We'll talk about John Deaton's prediction for the future, too. At the end of the video, though, I'd like to shift gears and discuss an important partnership that Ripple has recently formed with MasterCard to develop CBDCs for some of the world's largest corporations. Keep reading because you're about to learn one of the most essential details that most people are missing. I'll get to that at the end of the clip. Consequently, please don't leave. Judge Tora's denial of the SEC's motion to appeal was widely anticipated. First, let's recap what just happened in the Ripple SEC case so you know what to expect from this video. I'd like to offer some reasons why things aren't as bad as the general public believes. In fact, things will progress fairly quickly. In addition, Judge Kors has great reasoning for letting the SEC do this. I'd want to pause right now so I can give a quick explanation of what's going on. The SEC is essentially adopting a novel technique known as an interlocutory appeal in order to lodge an early appeal in a triple SEC case. Until the case has been resolved, waiting is the norm. We're all too aware that certain cases involving the liberal SEC action may end up in court. In order to file an appeal, the SEC had to come up with this one-of-a-kind form and landmark case. The SEC essentially asked Judge Torres yesterday if an appeal would be allowed. Just now, Judge Torres confirmed that it would. Many people today see this as something terrible. If a ruling is wrong, why does Judge Torres let them appeal it? Does that mean she's going to change her mind about whether or not XRP is a security? Judge Corey stated that XRP is not a security as a matter of law and not according to any form of opinion, hence it will continue to be treated as a security whatever the outcome of the appeal. So, it's safe to say that won't ever change. And with that, we can rule out a potentially disastrous black swan event. In light of XRP holders and secondary transactions, there are a lot of people who don't get this. Therefore, this argument fails to carry much weight. However, the business model of Ripple's in the future is what really matters. Judge Torres prevailed in his bid to prevent the SEC from classifying all Ripple transactions as investments. Therefore, most of the transactions involving Ripple's did not involve securities. Please allow me to elaborate on why she would even consider this appeal. Simply putting it into words doesn't make sense. In her recent ruling, Judge Torres provided a detailed explanation of her thinking. Her stance has been made clear. When the SEC appeals, why would you let them? For what purpose are you even thinking about this request? Judge Kors would want this to happen, as John Deaton Mo tweeted out quite persuasively. That, at least, is what I've come to believe. As I mentioned last week, John Deaton has stated that she will allow that SEC to submit a formal request for an interlocutory appeal. She can now choose to either confirm that she did not classify the sales or explain why she did not, and why Randolph is completely wrong in his reading of her decision. She won't make a decision for another 3 to 6 months, it was the SEC, so don't expect much fun. Therefore, John Deaton's misstatement is extremely important. The judge effectively said, I don't agree with how Judge Torres ruled in the Terra Luna case, the Terra Luna Foundation, or Dogecoin, which you may remember hearing in that case. Because people were essentially asking, hey, if Ripple was allowed to sell XRP, why shouldn't we be allowed to sell Luna? He came out and made that remark. In the Ripple case, I disagree with the ruling made by Judge Torres. Therefore, you may not sell Luna, the judge said, because I do not agree with her. Many have recently said openly that they believe XRP still meets the legal definition of a security, and that some Ripple sales may once again be subject to securities regulation. John Deaton claims that Judge Torres will use the SEC's appeal as payback against Judge Rakoff. He disagreed with the judge's ruling in the Terra Luma case and made that fact public. This appeal prompts Judge Torres to offer a rebuttal. Without this appeal, Judge Torres would have been unable to rule. She would have been responsible for handling the market disruption that any option would have triggered. She is giving the STC a chance to appeal, but since she is doing so, she can counter their arguments and defend RAC, causing error in the marketplace. This is essential as many in the industry are attempting to argue that XRP's legal standing is still up in the air after Judge Rakoff's Terra Luna verdict. The market has now given Judge Torres a chance to prove that she is right and he is wrong. Even if the Church of Taurus agrees with the SEC's appeal, that doesn't mean the SEC will win. However, the odds of Judge Torres changing her mind are much lower than they once were. She'll just use this to prove to the market that she was right all along. The fact that it won't be too long is another lesson we may draw from this. Contrary to John Dayton's estimate that it may take 3 to 6 months, I've heard a lot of individuals, including attorney Fred, suggest that this would be over in October or November. The SEC is making an all-out effort to urge Judge Torres to reverse her ruling. However, she has decided not to. She plans to restate her previous statements to silence her critics and ensure that her decision will go down in history. This is, in my opinion, really good news. If the SEC had waited to file its appeal until the matter was decided, as many people expected it would, Ripple would still be dealing with this uncertainty over the Terra Luna scenario. Now is her moment to show the market that she was correct all along and he was wrong. For the most part, I see this as good news in the long run. In terms of the future course of things, I heard John Dayton passed away, is it true? The single most important consideration, and I know I keep stressing this, but bear with me. The value of XRP in the market has not changed. Due to legal considerations, XRP will never be considered a security. The original ruling made by Judge Torres is final and binding. Alright, then. Only Ripple is really affected by this. I'd want to continue talking about some fantastic news that came out earlier today. The first time I saw this, I was a little taken aback. Not what I was expecting at all. However, if you've been paying attention to this channel for a while, you know that I've been predicting for a long time that Ripple would announce some major deals as soon as this issue was resolved. Today, however, MasterCard and Ripple are collaborating to launch CBDCs. Interesting development, MasterCard is working with several partners in the Bitcoin business. The fact that conventional financial institutions like a number of MasterCards and major banks can't do this without the help of blockchain technology companies is fascinating. They need to work together with these actors to build their solutions. And now we witness one of the most momentous events in history. MasterCard is not guaranteeing that we will deal with this on our own and that the ripples are unnecessary. Together with the ripples, we are developing these solutions, which only serves to corroborate our previous findings. We have emphasized Ripple and XRP since the outset for their significance in building this infrastructure. And it seems like there are more than just us here. It seems MasterCard agrees, and Susan also brought up a very valid point: the difference between what MasterCard sees and the ripple effect. MasterCard has openly acknowledged that Ripple can serve as a foundation for developing CBDCs. Since MasterCard seems to be giving Ripple a lot of credit in this partnership for legitimately developing CBD, it seems increasingly likely that this will ultimately tie back to the XRP ledger. The fact that we are still near the end of the ripple effect of SEC lawsuits only adds to the excitement of this development. So, it's obvious they've been itching to make this announcement for a while now. It seems like they are trying to rush through this. In contrast, I anticipate the rippling SEC litigation will fade away during the next few months. Whatever the case may be, there will be many more announcements like this one in the future because innovation will not wait for the SEC to catch up. MasterCard, Visa, and the major banks are all well aware of the future and the rapid progress being made by other countries. They had to make up for lost time. The best software engineers in the world want to work for Ripples, so they won't bother developing their own solutions. They have no interest in joining these already established teams. Because of this, the incumbents lacked the manpower to compete with blockchain solutions. As a result, it needs to leverage worldwide ripple effects. In any case, the news that MasterCard is working with fintech startups like Ripple is really exciting. I anticipate hearing many more announcements like this over the next few months. In my opinion, this is just the start. In my opinion, many companies still need to be extra careful in light of the recent SEC action. Until everything is all over, they probably won't make any kind of major announcement. The good news is that things are changing and shifting in a positive direction. I truly hope what the SEC wants to happen in this case, losing jurisdiction over part of Ripple's sales rather than gaining jurisdiction, happens, but at this moment it seems unlikely that they will succeed. You can test the ruling, so maybe Judge Torres will decide that institutional sales are not securities. Even though I think that would be a lot of fun, this whole thing seems to be a lot of hype over nothing. I think this factored into Judge Torres' final decision. And when that happens, I think the floodgates might open, letting all these partnerships that have been established covertly for years out onto the market. Despite this being the start of hopefully many ripple effects, future partners will read this and see that we are moving on from that connection because it is safer and more Austin. Anyway, I greatly value your being here today, gentlemen. I trust you found this update interesting. Those that done so are asked to remember to subscribe and give a like. It means the world to me. See you soon, bye.